All right, that's the Supreme Court of the United States. That's the writ of certiorari for the Supreme Court. That's evidence for approaching the Supreme Court. And these are the material that I'm going to use to approach the Supreme Court. Right here. It's called a writ of certiorari, called Dred Scott. And we have a right to approach the Supreme Court. We're going to put Dred Scott on the docket. All right. I'm up here in Washington, D.C. at the Supreme Court. I went and got my paperwork. Because like I said, I ain't just going to talk about it. I'm going to be about it. I'm going to show you how to approach the Supreme Court. Just like Dred Scott in 1857, he sued for his freedom. So I'm going to sue for my freedom. I'm tired of asking Governor Hogan. I'm tired of asking Kathleen Pugh. I'm tired of asking the Department of Justice for my property. I'm going to take you to the Supreme Court and sue you for my property. I won my case. I was found innocent of all charges. I'm not a terrorist. I'm a filmmaker. I'm an independent filmmaker. So we're going to take this to the Supreme Court. It only cost me $300 to file a writ of certiorari to the Supreme Court. And my writ of certiorari is already in Judge Cox's hand. So during the 2019 session, I'm going to ask to approach the grand jury. If you don't give me access to the grand jury, I'm going to the Supreme Court. I'm going to the Supreme Court. You feel me? Congressman Cummings, Senator Cardin, Mikulski, Van Hollen. We're going to take 13 years of my journey for justice and we're going to put it in front of the Supreme Court. I told you when I started this that I was serious about this. I gave my word about this. This is about mass incarceration and racism in America. Dred Scott was the catalyst for the Civil War. You know what I'm saying? He created that conversation. So when I approached the Supreme Court, when I filed these papers with the Supreme Court, I gave y'all 10 years to address this. I gave y'all 10 years to address it. You didn't want to address it. So we're going to talk about my illegal incarceration in Lake County, Illinois, and my illegal incarceration in Baltimore County. And we're going to talk about Judge Turnbull, Judge Previous, Judge Holland. We're going to talk about the judges because, like I said, I filed my paperwork with Chief Justice Roberts in 2007. I filed my paperwork with the NAACP in 2007. I filed my paperwork with the ACLU in 2007. Called checks and balances. This illegal war on drugs, we're going to check that. We're going to talk about mass incarceration, and we're going to talk about ALEC. We're going to talk about ALEC's relationships with the courts and the corporations entwined in our politics. You took me to court. You called me a terrorist. I was just making a movie. I need my movie back. I need my property back. I need the truth to be told. And if you don't want to tell it, we're going to have the courts tell it. You're between a rock and a hard place. Because if you don't pay me what you owe me, you don't admit what you did to me, we're going to let it get settled in court. The same way that you took me to court, we're going to settle it in court. Like Martin Luther King said, keep your eyes on the prize. That's the prize. If I settle that in the Supreme Court, that means that you're going to have to let a lot of people go. Everybody that anybody that Shellenberger ever incarcerated, you're going to have to take Shellenberger's cases and reverse and remand all his cases. And anybody that's involved in this collusion to deny me my right to property and deny me my rights, you're going to have to be held accountable in the Supreme Court. Just like Dred Scott. I got a right to property. Under the Constitution, I got a right to make a movie. The movie was about our politics and the illegal war on drugs. No more, no less. It was about mass incarceration and racism in your prison industry. No more, no less. So we're going to settle it in court. Call it what you want. Just don't call me late when they call roll call. Mic check!